Renee Baran's story is one of those My 600 Love life episodes that does not feel like it begins with a simple weight loss journey. It feels heavier than that from the very first moment.
At this point, I'm just killing myself slowly.
Because you can immediately tell this is not just a woman who is uncomfortable with her size. This is a woman who has been slowly cornered by her own body, one painful morning after another, until even the most basic parts of life start feeling like a battle she is losing. When Renee says she is killing herself little by little every single day, it does not come across as dramatic. It comes across as the plain truth, because watching her struggle to get out of bed, stand up, breathe through the pressure in her back and legs, and simply exist inside that body feels like watching someone who knows she is running out of time and is desperate for one more chance before everything collapses.
My life is wasting away, and I hate it.
At 53 years old, Renee is living in a body that has turned normal life into a punishment. Taking a shower is no longer just a shower. It is a full physical ordeal that takes planning, energy, fear, and pain, because standing too long feels impossible. Walking even a short distance feels risky, and every step carries that terrifying thought that her legs may not hold her. What makes it even sadder is that Renee is not blind to what is happening. She knows her situation is serious. She is not laughing it off, pretending it is harmless, or trying to convince herself that everything is under control. She understands that her life has become a slow emergency. But knowing the truth is not the same as being able to escape it, and that is where her episode becomes much more complicated than it first appears.
When I wake up in the morning, I know I made it through another night because the pain is there to remind me that I'm still alive.
Because Renee's relationship with her weight was never simple. She was once a plus-size model, someone who believed in the idea that big could be beautiful, and for many years, her size was not only something she carried, it was connected to her identity, her confidence, and the way she felt accepted by the world. That is what gives her story a different kind of emotional weight. Renee was not just being told to lose pounds. She was being asked to separate herself from a version of her life that once made her feel powerful, noticed, desirable, and seen. But the cruel part is that the same body that once helped her feel confident had slowly become a prison, and by the time we meet her, that prison is so tight that she can barely move inside it.
When I was 5, my grandmother saw how unhappy I was, and she would try to use food to comfort me.
That is the dangerous line running through Renee's story. There is nothing wrong with wanting to feel beautiful. There is nothing wrong with refusing to let shame define you, but there is a point where confidence can become tangled with denial, and the line between self-love and self-destruction becomes almost impossible to see. Renee spent years trying to accept her body and protect herself from judgment, but by the time her weight reached 631 pounds, this was no longer about beauty standards, body positivity, or proving people wrong. It was about survival. It was about whether her heart, lungs, kidneys, joints, and legs could keep carrying everything that years of pain and addiction had placed on them. Her childhood gives the audience a painful explanation for where so much of this began, even if it does not erase the choices that came later. Renee talks about feeling unwanted by her mother, feeling like she was treated as a mistake, and finding comfort through food when she was still young. Her grandmother gave her food as love, and before Renee could even understand what was happening, eating became something much deeper than hunger. Food became warmth. Food became safety.
Food has always played an important part in my life because in the South, food is love.
Food became memory. Food became the thing that stayed when people made her feel rejected. Then came more trauma, more abuse, and more emotional damage. And every time life broke something inside her, food was there waiting, offering a few minutes of comfort without judgment, without questions, and without leaving her alone.
It's just everything's gone downhill, and they know food makes me happy.
That is how the addiction builds itself. And in the beginning, it does not always look extreme. It starts quietly. You eat because you are sad.
Just like alcoholic, alcohol make you happy, give them more alcohol.
You eat because you are lonely. You eat because you feel unwanted. You eat because for a brief moment, the food makes the pain feel quieter. But then the years pass, the pounds keep climbing, and the comfort slowly becomes control. The thing that once helped you survive becomes the thing that decides how small your world is allowed to be. By the time Renee appears on the show, her life has been reduced to pain, television, waiting for help, and depending on her children to bring her the same food that is making her body weaker.
This is a really big step for me.
And that is where the enabling becomes so hard to watch, because her children obviously love her. You can tell they are not trying to destroy their mother. They are not acting out of cruelty. They bring her food because she wants it.
And you are at 631 pounds.
Oh my God.
Because it gives her comfort, because saying no probably feels heartless in the moment.
Admitting you to the hospital and starting you on a 1,200 calorie a day, high protein, low carb diet.
Okay.
But this is one of the most painful truths Dr. Now repeats again and again throughout the series. When someone is eating themselves toward death, giving them more of the thing that is killing them is not compassion. It may feel loving in the moment, but it is still feeding the illness. And in Renee's case, love and enabling have become tangled together in a way that keeps her trapped.
Physical therapy to work with you daily. So now we need to work to try to save your life. 583. You lost 48 pounds. So that's great.
When Renee finally makes the trip to Houston, it does not feel like an exciting new beginning. It feels more like a warning sign. She is hurting before she even reaches the appointment. Her breathing is difficult, her legs are weak, and the entire trip shows just how fragile her body has become. By the time she is sitting in front of Dr. Now, there is no room left for comforting words that avoid the truth. Dr. Now is not trying to humiliate her, but he is also not going to soften the reality just to make it easier to hear. He looks at Renee's condition exactly as it is. She is in immediate danger, and if things do not change quickly, she may not have much time left to change them.
I'm excited about getting out of the hospital, but I'm scared about the fact that I'm going to be alone for the next couple of months.
Renee loses 48 pounds, and that is a major achievement. But Dr. Now understands something very important. Hospital weight loss does not automatically mean someone has changed. He has
And she only lost 8 pounds in past 2 months.
seen too many patients lose weight in a controlled environment, only to fall apart once they return home and have to face their cravings, stress, pain, and old routines without supervision. For Renee, the problem is not only food, it is also movement. Dr. Now keeps pushing her to build stamina, to do physical therapy, to walk, and to start using her body again. Because even if she loses enough weight to qualify for surgery, her body still has to be strong enough to survive the operation and recover afterward.
Getting better?
Come on, Renee. You know that's not true. The physical therapy we send to you, you turn them away. And,
But once Renee leaves that protected hospital environment, the old struggles start returning. She has pain, she has problems with transportation, she says she injures her leg, and when she comes back after 2 months having lost only 8 pounds, the frustration is immediate. You can feel it before Dr. Now even explains it. Because yes, her pain is real. Yes, moving at her size is incredibly difficult.
aerobics, and you're going to go 3 times a week. And if you skip even once, we're done here. I'm not going to play any games with you. No.
Yes, every step is harder than most people can imagine, but the scale is also telling the truth. She is not making enough progress on her own, and Dr. Now knows that if she cannot follow the program before surgery, then surgery may not save her. It may put her at even greater risk.
I explained to you how bad your body is.
Eventually, Renee begins doing the work that goes deeper than the scale, and that is when her episode becomes more than just a story about pounds lost. Therapy matters for her, because the weight on her body is only the part everyone can see.
And kidney failure, partly from all the abuse that you have put your body through all these years.
The invisible weight has been there much longer. The rejection, the abuse, the loneliness, the shame, the feeling that she was not loved the way she needed to be loved, all of that had been feeding the addiction long before she ever reached 631 pounds. When Renee starts facing those wounds instead of trying to bury them under food, you can finally feel a shift in her story. What makes Renee's progress hit harder is that even through all the pain, she never loses her personality. She jokes with Dr. Now, she talks about wanting her bikini body, and she smiles in a way that makes you feel like she can finally imagine a version of life that is not completely ruled by pain, food, and dependence. That is why her episode does not feel like a villain episode. Renee is not the kind of patient you watch just to be angry. She is not chaos for the sake of chaos. She is a woman who is buried under trauma, addiction, and years of physical damage, but somewhere underneath all of that, there is still a funny, warm, stubborn, grateful person trying to come back to the surface. By the end of her episode, Dr. Now says that her heart, lungs, and kidneys are doing better, and that detail matters because it reminds us what this journey was really about. This was never just about looking smaller. This was not about a makeover or a number on a chart. This was about keeping Renee alive. It was about giving her children more time with their mother. It was about giving Renee pieces of herself back after years of living in a body that demanded everything from her and gave her almost nothing in return. Renee Baran passed away on May 14, 2021 at only 56 years old. Knowing that changes the way her episode feels when you watch it back. Every time she smiles, every time she jokes, every time she tries to walk, every time she imagines the future, you are watching someone fighting for time that she ultimately did not get enough of. And that makes her story feel less like a normal transformation episode and more like a reminder of how urgent these journeys really are.